You, me, we are not meant to go about this journey alone. I could be referring to many things. I could be talking about journey of life. We're not meant to go at it alone. And especially in this spiritual soul growth, especially in the metaphysical space where I like to hang out, is that there are many of us, so many of us, who I have talked to who feel alone or don't feel like they have the people in their life to support them on the journey, because perhaps it's just you feel like you don't have people you can connect with. And I actually have what I think is a perfect example for this. So, have you ever experienced someone in your life, maybe it's a friend or a family member or a colleague, when you share about something you're passionate about, or perhaps it's your business, and you can feel energetically, intuitively, you can feel with your inner knowing that they just don't get it. And while they're there and they're listening and they're very supportive and they're really amazing, it's like there's a miss. It's like you're trying to explain something to somebody that perhaps you don't have the same languaging to explain it, or perhaps you've had different spiritual experiences that perhaps I'm kind of going into that, but like you have these experiences that don't know if they're open to hearing, or you don't really know how to articulate them in a way because you don't want to be viewed as like weird or odd or anything like that. Like, I don't know if you ever felt that, where there's been this like, it's just happened to me recently. I was sharing an update with somebody and I was like slowing down my pace and choosing my words so that I could kind of meet them where they're at, which is a great thing to have. And what if you being able to articulate like really openly and from your heart and your soul, and you don't have to like edit the words that you're saying? Like, for me, that is golden and one of the most powerful things. And so right now, it is so important. Like, this is happening all over. And I've actually had conversations, even outside of the spiritual metaphysical space, where I just was talking to a friend today where she said that there are studies and there are articles and conversations talking about post-pandemic, people are craving community. And what's happening is that for some people, or for a lot of the population, they are wanting connection, yet because of the pandemic and working from home, have like, maybe I've found a comfort zone within the house and maybe are not going out as much, or whatever the thing is. But the thing is like, regardless of whether that's the situation or something else, like, we right now more than ever, I just feel that community is such a powerful thing, whether it be in person, virtually, or both. Finding your people who you can connect with and go deep with and build friendships and relationships. So you can have a support group, so you can have reflection to build your business. I mean, there's so many different things. So like, if we can agree that community is important, then you can continue watching. And if you don't feel like community is important, then you probably shouldn't continue watching this video. So let's talk a little bit about why it matters for spiritual growth. I have 3 different points here. So I'm just looking at my notes. Okay. So as you know, there is, and I'm going to speak in energetics because this is the world that I live in. So when you have a group of people, there is a magical force that is made, especially when there's like this vibrational connection that happens between the group of people. Perhaps you've felt this. Maybe you've been in a course, or you've been in like a coaching program or something where there's a community that bonds together over a shared experience. Or maybe you've had this at different points in your life. Like, when you come together, or maybe you've gone to an event where it's like the power of this specific moment in time, these souls coming together, these amazing people coming together to create magic and momentum. And perhaps you've also felt when there is a group of people, but maybe that magic is not there. So there's this shared energy and this shared experience that really magnifies growth. So the thing is that I can speak to this myself. And I actually had a friend reflect this back to me recently, that I've been going at building my business, especially my spiritual business, a bit in like a lone wolf fashion, to where I've been like doing it by myself. And as much as I love community, there's different layers of support that we could have. And so we're not meant to do life on our own. We're meant to connect more deeply with people, because when we're able to connect with people who are on the same wavelength, not only is there energy momentum that's created in these little beautiful energy pockets, there's also this beautiful thing where you can have new ideas coming into your space. I'm sure you've heard the term, you cannot create inside of a vacuum. And I understand so much what it's like to create in a vacuum, because your ideas or your business or whatever it is lies all in your head. And so you're like, oh my gosh, I've got all this. And you think out all the things. And the thing is like, we've lived our life as nomads, as digital nomads for the past 3 years. And so while I've created community as I've traveled around and met people, we are consistently moving into a new place, into a new place, into a new place. And so when it comes to like my business and my spiritual journey and my life, like there's certain aspects of this that I have began to create in a vacuum, because I felt like some of the things that I was learning, not everybody was on that same path. Maybe you've felt the same way. Maybe this is something that you've experienced where it's like you begin to feel like, where are my people? And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I know this gets used a lot, but being able to be in a space where you can be vulnerable and express yourself. This is point number 2, why communities are so important and perhaps could be the thing that changes everything for you in this next year or in your life, is plugging into a community. Today, I was just talking to a friend, and she was like, I think that I have found my community. I have found my people. I have found this space in this group of people that I can plug into, that I can be myself, that we speak the same language, that I'm feeling nourished from this environment. I'm able to connect. I'm able to expand. I really think that this group is going to expand me a lot. And what's beautiful is that these are the 3 pillars of a community that I'm creating, that I've created, that I've launched, called High Vibe Soul Tribe. And what's interesting is those 3 pillars of connect and nourish and expand are literally the 3 words that she used to refer to another group. And as much as I'd love to hear it and be like, that was my group that she talked about, the thing is those are key components. She said those words for a reason, because those are the pieces of community that are important. So, when it comes to feeling safe to express yourself vulnerably, I know that safe space gets thrown around a lot, where people are like, this is a safe space. And then people enter and they don't feel safe. And there's multiple reasons why someone would or wouldn't feel safe. And so the thing is that with what I'm going to speak to for this specific point is that having a space where you can share authentically, where you can share your wins, your challenges, you can share the different things going on. And this goes back to something I said earlier, where if you've ever noticed that when you tell somebody something, that you sometimes have to edit some of the words, and it's not that you're not being authentic, but there's something different between just like opening up your heart and pouring out what's there versus like not knowing if that person's on the same page. So for example, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to talk to your Aunt Judy, I don't know, it's a random name I picked, about entrepreneurship, and she's never done that, like it might be a complete miss. She might not understand what it's like to invest tens of thousands of dollars on your personal growth, to go all in on a dream, on a vision. She may not understand that. So if you begin to explain it to her and she's like, wow, you're crazy, there's no way I would ever do that, that's a lot of money, or whatever the things are that she says back, you like aren't really fully articulating. So if you're in a space of entrepreneurs where they've all done similar things, you're now having this conversation and you're learning from each other and you're creating the momentum and growing. The third point is accountability and motivation. And so this is something that is a byproduct of the community that I've created, High Vibe Soul Tribe, is that accountability and motivation is built into the community. This is not an accountability group. This is not a motivation group. And if you are coming into a space where you love and you enjoy and you're excited to connect, and that you're seeing people regularly and you're building relationships, I will tell you 1,000%, one of the many reasons why I brought High Vibe Soul Tribe into the world now is because I wanted accountability, because I had all these ideas and all these different things that were coming through, and I downloaded this exact concept, High Vibe Soul Tribe. This downloaded to me in the summer. I was in Ohio when I very first downloaded it, and I interpreted it a certain way, and I was like, well, yeah, that's maybe what it is, and I was just going to keep it to a very small group and invite some of my entrepreneur friends and support each other in this way. And I didn't end up moving forward with that. And then I was going through, just here recently, it's just a few months ago, I was going through this really tough mental, emotionally draining, anxiety, limiting belief cycle. And I'm continuing to break out of that right now. And I had asked the universe and I had asked my guides, I was like, what can I do? I feel like I need accountability. I feel like I need people outside of me. I need to stop operating in a vacuum and just making these decisions by myself. I was like, what is it that I can invite into my life or step into, or what, help, show me a sign, or, all the different ways that we talk about those things. So I can't remember the timing of it, but I think the timing is I was having a really tough day one Monday, and I called one of my friends. Actually, she reached out to me. What I love is a lot of my friends and the people who are in my community and who are in my circle are all intuitive and talk about all kinds of different things spiritually, and are very exposed to a lot of the same topics that I am and want to go deep and have those conversations. And so one of those people was highly intuitive. She messaged me and she was like, hey, I feel like we need to chat. And I was like, okay, well, maybe. And then we connected, and one of the first things she said is, she's like, I feel like something's up. What's going on? And I just started bawling and I was crying and I just let it all out. And she was there to listen and reflect back to me. And I was having a really tough time mentally and emotionally that day. Shortly after that experience, I think it was the Tuesday or Wednesday after, I had asked that question of the universe, what can I do? I have to break out of this cycle because I'm over it. I need help. How do I break out of this limiting belief in this cycle of lack and spiraling in my head? And I was sitting, I can't remember, but a lot of times when things download to me, I'm sitting in my car, or I'm driving, or I'm sitting at a park or something, but I was sitting somewhere, and I pulled out my notebook and I was I wrote down all these things, and I laughed because I was this is literally High Vibe Soul Tribe that I downloaded months ago in Ohio. And I was okay, it's time. It's time for me to pull all these pieces together, because I just feel the time is now. We're at the cusp of a year that just happens to be. So if you're watching this video and we're not at the cusp of a new year, it really doesn't matter, because right now we've got to come together and we've got to be able to connect with people that we feel comfortable with, that we can explore new ideas with, that we can be seen, that we can have things reflected back to us, that we can create. Part of my intention with High Vibe Soul Tribe is that it helps create these lifelong bonds, these potential business collaborations, this opportunity for you to get and connect from the community what it is that you need the most. And so there's an overview. I can't believe it's been 15 minutes. I wanted this to be 5 to 7, but I've been sharing some personal stories, and I'm just really excited about this. I've been sharing with you some of the main reasons why community is really important. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how community has supported you, what you how I would love to hear if you could put in the chat or the comments what has community been for you, and how has it supported you in your spiritual journey, or your spiritual awakening journey, or your spiritual growth journey. How has that been for you as a spiritual seeker, as someone who maybe uses some of the words like vibrational frequency and align to your highest timeline, and perhaps maybe you've gone down some of the rabbit holes where you've really gone into different conversations about aliens, or you've gone down, maybe you really just gone down some of the things about human design and astrology, or perhaps you've looked into things that are around, what does it mean to move from 3D to 5D and live a 5D life, or maybe you've looked into how the earth is transitioning into a new earth timeline, or maybe you've gone into different channelers and you've followed different channelers like Bashar, or you've followed like names are eluding me right now, but like you've gotten into different things, that these are some of the things that maybe are on the fringe, like the outer edges or like the outside of what it is that maybe the people in your circle do or don't talk about. And so this isn't not a community to like push certain ideas on you. This is a community to connect, nourish, and expand so that you can feel supported on your journey. So High Vibe Soul Tribe, as of right now, we're in founding member enrollment right now. So like I have so many ideas and so many things, and this first started as like, come to Jenny's events, and now it's like, yo, this is a community for all of us to connect. So within those 3 categories, we're going to do cacao ceremonies, we're going to do soul circles, we're going to do soul chats. I have some different ideas. I don't really have the names for it yet, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting, if you want to do this from a business perspective, connecting over your business and like little mastermind type things. Mastermind is overused so much, but like I'll talk about that more another day. But there's all these different ways that you can lean in. It's all virtual. It's all a virtual community. At some point, I want to bring in-person events to it. And dude, this is so epic. I'm so excited about all of this. So right now, there's like 3 to 5 plus virtual gatherings a month. You're going to be plugging into an amazing group of people. And let's see, today is December 9th. So if you're watching this related to the timeline, then this next thing applies to you. And if you're watching it after, then all of these things are still valid minus whatever evolution High Vibe Soul Tribe has. So right now we're enrolling founding members. And so the first 33 members, as of this moment, unless someone has signed up during this live, we have 13 members. And so for the first 33 founding members, it's $33 a month or $333 a year. If you're seeing this or listening to this or watching this prior to December 14th, which is when our first virtual Nourish event is, and this is going to be a virtual cacao ceremony on the 14th. If you're watching it before then and you enroll at the annual rate of $333, I'm going to gift you a one-on-one Akashic record reading. And so you can choose from a 45-minute session or a 75-minute session. And that is my gift to you to help you really receive whatever information and downloads is going to help you on your soul journey and set you up for the next year. And so if you want to do those things, I'm thinking, because I'm live in multiple places right now, in the comments is where you can find the link to join. Of course, you can comment below if you need more information, or you can ask me any questions, or hey, you can just keep watching and maybe you're not quite ready to join, and that's okay too. So to recap, what we talked about today is community, what did I call this? I forget the title. Is the secret ingredient, is this the secret ingredient to your spiritual growth? So is community perhaps the secret ingredient to your spiritual growth this year? And so I shared 3 reasons why community matters. So the first thing was that having this shared energy magnifies growth. And there's so much research behind this type of thing that when done right, it really creates an amplification. So there's that. Number 2 is that if you can have a place where you feel safe for vulnerability and expressing your authentic self, that is huge. So you don't have to censor the words that you're saying, and you're able to speak freely about things that perhaps many people in your life don't want to talk about or haven't looked into, or perhaps it's just not of interest to them, and that is perfectly fine. And the third one is what's built into the community is this accountability and motivation, because you're there and you're connecting. You're connecting with others. You're being seen. You're able to it's a byproduct of being in a community. It's kind of like when you go to like classes, gym classes. Like, you want to sign up for in-person classes so you can have that accountability. It's like the same type of thing. So thank you for joining. I'm so glad that you're here. I'd love to welcome you into High Vibe Soul Tribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.